They took a chance going the girl boss angle with the Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim, and it looks like it didn't pay off because reviews are already rolling in and they're not good. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. We have from IGN, who notoriously love woke content, who overrate woke content, still giving the War of the Rohirrim a 6 out of 10. So it's probably worse than that. Same with what they did with the Tomb Raider series on Netflix, for example. They also gave a 6, which I was very surprised that they didn't give it a 7. Same with this. I'm surprised they didn't give it a 7, but I think that the culture is shifting and people are waking up. This is a little bit more honest than what I previously would have expected. Let's see. The reviewer is named Emma. Is this an actual woman? I think so. Okay. Surprise, surprise. Usually I was expecting a Troon to review this, not gonna lie, but it looks like, okay. Of course, they probably felt like they had to have a woman review this because female lead, so on and so forth. The reviewer would have been called sexist otherwise, because unfortunately that's the social climate we live in right now. That's thankfully starting to die down. So they gave it a 6. They said The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim is a fascinating idea with a lackluster execution, more interesting as a concept than an actual retelling of one of Middle-earth's famous legends, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at Rotten Tomatoes. Dude, they want me to look at their ads so bad. So anyway, what we have here is with 37 reviews, it's sitting at a 65%. We have here says probably the best production of the litany of Tolkien pre-Ring stories to come to the big screen, which isn't really saying a whole lot, but they are including The Hobbit, which is interesting. I think that the first Hobbit was okay. The second one, Desolation of Smaug, was actually good. So I think that saying this is the best, I'd be shocked. I think it's probably a lot better than, well, they said big screen. Rings of Power didn't hit big screen. But I would say it's got to be better than Rings of Power. I mean, how can it not be? But that is an interesting take. I would say the last Hobbit movie, yeah, maybe it's better than that. Some parts drag, some parts are campy, but this is definitely something to see on the big screen. Then why does it have, that's a good tomato. I forget how this works. Okay, now here's somebody who gave it a bad tomato. So even so, it looks like they're saying, I think that's 65% where they're saying, okay, they think it's okay. Some of these, like, okay, we say delivers the kind of petrichor high fantasy that has no business being as rare as it is nowadays. Interesting. So these people are saying pretty good things, but yet it sits at a 65%. So it looks like they're trying to say nice things while giving the score. Okay, 3.5. This one, they gave it a B+. That's actually a good review that they gave it. 4 out of 5. That's a good review. 16.5 out of 20. That's 20 metric is interesting. Okay, 3 out of 5. That's what I honestly expect this to be, is along a 3 out of 5. I don't think this is going to be as terrible as the Tomb Raider Netflix series. I don't think it's going to be as terrible as Rings of Power, because I do think the art style actually looks really good. I love this character. I don't know the original lore of this. I am a Lord of the Rings fan just from what Peter Jackson has created. I do like her design. She's pretty. This is a cool design. I just don't like the idea of turning this into a girl boss story. But I do like the art a lot. Not even gonna lie. I think this is great. I think the characters look good. And hey, if they would have actually had a good story, this could be something that I would have loved. But I don't think it's going to be a 2 out of 10, you know? I think a 3 out of 5 is what I'm expecting, but we'll see if I end up watching it. We'll see. I don't know. So we have here Zach with the bad review, a C. He says, a technical and gorgeous marvel from the spanning landscape to the incredible sound design. Sadly, the story just isn't interesting enough to lock me in. That's exactly what I felt like I would feel. And then here, William, who is a top critic, the 4th best animated Lord of the Rings feature, which sounds pretty good until you remember there are only 4 of them. That's kind of hilarious. Okay. Cody here says The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim eschews such resonant connections to our real world, instead favoring broad, unoriginal discussions of heroism and bravery. Okay, so, does he, I'm trying to decode what he's saying here. So the story is more focused on heroism and bravery, and he wanted it to be focused more on social justice. That's what this sounds like to me. So if I were only reading his review, I would say, maybe this could be okay. Maybe I would like it. Let's see what David here says. Hera is a promising character, well voiced by Wise and painstakingly animated as a great shield maiden warrior by Kamiyama's team, but the War of the Rohirrim ballad for her sounds unfinished and too derivative of better tunes we've already heard. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. This is a 7 out of 10, which again, that's along the lines of what I would expect. There was no chance the War of the Rohirrim recapturing the magic of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, but Hera's defiance in the face of the despair of her enemies want her to feel has something of the trilogy's inspirational quality. Okay, here's a 6 out of 10. And it says, this unexpected animated journey successfully brings the visual spectacle of the beloved live action films to the big screen, which makes the War of the Rohirrim, the more I say this, the more I don't know how to pronounce it, shortcomings in its plot and characters all the more frustrating. Okay, apparently this is what seems to be pretty unanimous. Story is terrible. Art style is good. Presentation looks great. Story is terrible. The film does not feel so different from any of the above average animated Batman films that Warner Brothers has been releasing direct to video recently, but with little impact. So I think perhaps this going to theaters was maybe not necessary. Maybe they could have just released this on Netflix as a movie or something like that, and people would like it better because their expectations would be a bit lower. That would be my guess. Let's see this woman. She gave it a 2 out of 5. Okay. The War of the Rohirrim is invested entirely into convincing you it's just like the films you know and love. Yet again and again, along comes that stinking suspicion. This is just another corporate wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, Clarisse. I respect it. All right. And that's what's funny is because whenever they go like these girl boss angles and stuff, they think they're appeasing women. But then if you actually see the reviews that the women are leaving, it's not working apparently, because so far out of the 2 women I've seen review it, it's not hit a home run for them. But again, I do think it looks great. If it drops on Netflix or even just renting it, I would consider it. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. I would consider it, but I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's, again, 6 or 7 out of 10 sounds pretty accurate from my impressions, but obviously I haven't seen it. So maybe I would love it. Maybe I would hate it. Who knows? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel at Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.